Detroit
You
Lions.
change your pick if Moss gets suspended or not.
I'm even going to
Nope.
put one of these in there to keep it.
So it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Just doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter.
You think they should trade him because he's a man of poor character?
Like that
No,
would be the first one.
no, that's a good discussion, Randy Moss.
Oh yeah, I'll bet that's a good one.
What do you mean?
It's a little played, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think we might give a side of it which is not played.
But this is Cinéma Vérité,
Yeah. What's your point?
where you can talk about anything, played or not played, or
It's a little like being
gay or
on
not gay,
ESPN.
or
I don't think Randy Moss is gay.
No, it's not.
I'd be very
no,
surprised.
he was
There's
trying
several
to,
children.
in a very heterosexual way.
Eddie Murphy.
He was trying to make a move on that traffic officer with his car. So what's your take, Joe? I'm sure
My
it'll be
take is
enlightening.
that this might come as a surprise to some of our viewers, but black men in America are angry oftentimes, and rightly so, because they've grown up in America and they've been looked at by white people in a certain way for all their life, and so you get a reaction sometimes which is fuck you, some kind of a fuck you reaction, and that's what Randy Moss does oftentimes. Is he says basically his whole point, the way white people look at him and at black men generally, black people generally, is that you must be a certain way. We expect
We expect you not to drive your cars into people.
Yeah. Well, he didn't drive his car into someone.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
He fucking
He did
yes,
not hit
did.
someone with his car.
I'm not saying he.
He pushed her. She sat on his car and
He
he
obviously
pushed.
wasn't trying to hurt her.
He pushed-
Still,
he did
car
not hit-
connecting with person, even if
Right,
it's not hard.
right. So I'm saying, if you understand the dynamic between white and black,
Well, what if
of,
she
of
was black?
authority, I
Oh.
doubt it. I doubt that.
Well, we don't know, do we?
No, we don't.
She's a woman.
But
If she
I'm-
was,
I'm
would I
just telling
change it
you,
at all for you?
She.
Not really.
She.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah, there's the other thing.
That's certainly, it's not like it was a white man. It wasn't the man that he was fighting in this case, and he wasn't even a real police officer. So
Well, when you look at somebody
Somebody
like,
with much less power than Randy Moss.
someone
yeah,
probably making
right. That's exactly it. Is that
$8 an hour.
this is what causes the problem, is that he has come into a great deal of power, and he has kind of he's glorying in it, and he becomes a kind of prick at times because of the gaze that is upon him. I think it's either you've got to bring it down to it's got to be essentially innate or circumstantial, and to me it's circumstantial. And if you understand the circumstances of the kind of condescension that goes from white to black, and then you get black guys who come into power and they fuck with people.
Yeah.
They say, you no longer, I don't care what you say about me, I dominate. In what I do, I dominate, and I am, and you don't, and it becomes this power play.
But with Moss, we can't know that it isn't innate. I mean, what Moss's detractors always get back to is the apparently severe beating he laid on people when he was, being entertained by Notre Dame. And,
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, that's what his criminal record is for. What, first-degree assault? Isn't it? I mean, he beat someone.
As a high school kid?
Seriously. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of my friends got into fights in high school, gotten beaten or beat. I don't think I think the difference is that he's tremendously athletic and powerful.
I think I just think we don't know. I mean, I certainly don't want to condemn him based on something that he did when he was, 18 years old. But
well, when you
I don't think we
innate,
can say that it's
mean?
not innate. I mean, maybe he's just a bad guy. We don't know that he's not.
What does that mean, even?
Well, you're the one who
bad
brought it
brain
up,
chemistry.
yeah. I don't know. I get that.
See, I can't.
That's part of my point. I don't know what that means. I mean, you said it
Could mean
wasn't
he's just
something
an
that was
asshole
innate.
or a prick, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, no, but I'm saying that is a circumstantial. That all personality is circumstantially produced, unless you're talking about mental illness. Mental illness. If you have a mental illness, your brain isn't functioning right, and you might have.
So maybe the people who say that he is mentally ill are right. You know, that there is something wrong.
You don't think people can just choose to be assholes?
No.
Really? You were talking about homosexuality as a philosophy or a belief that you can
Right.
choose, and people can't just say,
Well,
I'm gonna fuck people over every chance I get.
Well, yeah, but I believe that would come out of a certain circumstance. Out of they'd have to have a certain degree of frustration in their lives to find satisfaction in that. You know.
Are you kidding me? There's fucking Enron executives or whoever, you know, there's corporate people who have everything they want, and they're still assholes. They have all kinds of power, and they don't have
That's
any
how you
reason.
get that kind of.
Yeah, you get that kind of power because you've had some trauma, some frustration at least as the base of your life. I mean,
Well,
I'm just saying, you know, anytime you look at anybody's psyche, it's built up out of circumstances. You know, at
But
least.
Moss is a guy whose circumstances have changed.
Yeah, sure, circumstances change.
So behavior should maybe start changing.
I'm just saying,
too.
I think
I'm not judging him.
until the climate, the white supremacist climate of the United States changes, I foresee many powerful black people having a hostility and exercising
Well, the thing
hostility.
the hostility that makes sense to me is the way he responds to the media. There's a little bit of sense there of saying, you know, get the fuck out of my face, you know, that kind of thing. But when it comes to actually, I mean, I don't, you know, you act like it wouldn't make any difference. I mean, if this is a black, you know, this is somebody who's, you know, if it was a black traffic cop, you're saying that makes no difference? I mean, suddenly he's lost the line
Well,
between...
first of all, we can't even talk about it because we don't know whether it was.
Yeah, but you
I
said
don't think
it
it
wouldn't
was. I
make
think it
much of
was-
a difference.
Well, what I'm saying is that if you live your whole life in a certain if it, you know, has created something which is there now, you know, and he may exercise it without now just in terms of power, you know.
Yeah, well,
It's
that's
just
pretty
pure-
fucked up, man. I
Well,
mean, it really
yeah.
be get screwed over to
Well,
have
what I
that
thought
happen.
was
Yeah.
really interesting about this is that when he was released, first of all, his ride wasn't there, which had to be about as irritating as anything could be. But he was swarmed by reporters,
Yeah.
people asking him questions, and he chose to respond to Esme Murphy, CCO's reporter, in a very uncomplimentary sort of way.
Yeah.
I told you, woman.
Yeah,
I
right.
think was his quote, and I thought, my goodness, if
And
you
one
just
bizarre,
pushed a woman across
one
the
thing,
road,
it doesn't matter
why
who you.
single her
One
out?
kind of unifying thing we have in America now is that we'll forgive you for anything, pretty much, but you gotta fucking come clean. And so it doesn't ever make sense to me when people just kind of go, hey, I didn't, when it's so obvious they did something fucked up, and they won't even, at the very least, apologize to the person they fucked over. I mean, because people, if he, expresses any kind of remorse at all, people are gonna go, okay, suit up for Sunday, baby.
sorry for pushing you with my car.
I mean, if he's gotten to the level, he's just going to keep saying fuck you, fuck you, fuck you to every person in authority, even when it will totally screw him up in court or wherever, then that's just a bizarre kind of pathology.
I have a
almost.
question. Do you see any...
You start to say something the minute that's the minute everybody says, uppity,
Right.
getting uppity, and this is
But it's
exactly what
Michael
I'm saying
Jordan.
about Moss, is that Moss, I think from the very start, has understood this kind of thing, like, I know I can't say this or whatever because I'll be viewed as uppity, and he's just absolutely blows it up every time, just says, I am uppity, and, I will, if you're going to define me that way, or,
So from that standpoint, Moss has character that Jordan doesn't have.
I would say, but
I don't see him doing anything political, though.
no, he's,
No, everything
Well,
is
I don't
political.
know.
And, there's
Yeah, right.
no getting around that.
Everything's political.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think so.
Uh-huh.
But
What?
Was that pizza we had tonight political?
Yeah, I mean, Schwann's Pizza, right? Who runs
Are we?
Marshall?
We're supporting
This bar
Schwann's.
wouldn't be here if Schwann's didn't want it here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's
this is
Randy
Marshall.
Moss doing about it?
I don't know. I don't know if Moss likes frozen food. You know, when you get Moss's kind of money, you don't have to like put pizza in the oven. You know.
That's true. He's gotten beyond the frozen
You know, I mean,
pizza
if he
stage.
probably had to eat Totino's or something, or
Totino's,
Gino's pizza when he was
Gino's.
growing up. You know, a buck a piece or something, and that would create a lot of hostility.
Yeah, I like
You know?
Gino's and Totino's. Joe. But, you know, come on, can't you? I mean, at a certain point, that just excuses something everybody fucking does, you know? If everything's like, okay, well, it's just some behavior that somehow
Well,
experience
it might
molded me
explain it, but
into.
you're not suggesting that we should excuse it.
Doesn't sound
I'm
too
suggesting
concerned about it.
that first of all, I think that you do, when you understand the origin of something, and if you want to get free of it, that you do begin to at least downplay it. It's like the thing is that people like blow everything out of proportion with him. Like every single, it's like with Iverson, every single thing they can seize on, they're just like, you know, they just blow it up.
Okay, here's the thing.
But is it a racial issue? I mean, Gary Condon.
Okay, look, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming if I ever drive into any cop, you know, I don't care what speed.
It wasn't a cop.
Or, it was a traffic cop.
No.
No.
It wasn't. No.
What was
It
she doing?
A rent-a-cop.
Okay, anybody
Meter maid.
who's even at all legally connected, if I ever drive my car into them and push them for a half block, even if it doesn't hurt them at all, I'm assuming at some point I'm going to get my head cracked in. So I'm not assuming that my, you know, skin color is going to save me.
How are you
You've been
going to,
reading
meter
too-
maid is going to beat the hell out of you?
She's going to call for somebody
She's gonna
to
call
fucking,
Sipowicz.
you know, these days the fucking civilians will jump you, man. Civilians are going crazy.
You've been
now.
reading too many Elroy novels.
Oh, I mean, anybody who's connected to the league, that's the first thing they do is just beat the fucking shit out of you if you try to fuck with them physically.
The beat down.
Don't you think? When you expect that?
Well, not if you're Randy
this is
Moss.
a
I mean, I
little-
don't think the police can.
You know
really-
what
At the
this
very
reminds
least,
me of?
mace or something.
No.
No, this is interesting.
This
though,
reminds
because-
me of when I was a child. When I was a child, this woman would park her car across the sidewalk. They had a driveway, but she wouldn't pull the car all the way into the driveway. She'd park it so that it was across the sidewalk. And so we would be riding bikes or whatever, and we didn't, you know, just have to go off the curb and around this thing. And so, you know, and it was just very annoying. And so one time, I would walk up to the car and just like be walking along and walk into the car intentionally. You know, and
All right.
you know, so it to me,
Good
it's,
recreation.
it's that type of, and at one time she came out when I was doing this, or I think I had like the door was open, the window was down or something. I opened the door, went through the car. So I was walking, went through the car. You know.
That's kooky.
So she comes out and she grabs me by the arm, you know, and she's like, you know, telling, you know, she's all pissed off because I had, you know, it's that type of, that's what I could see in this Moss thing. It's that kind of crazy neighbor thing,
Yeah.
like where somebody has planted something a foot on your side of the property or something,
Yeah.
or I don't know if you've ever had this sort of suburban sort of situation, but this is the way it is in the East Coast.
Yeah,
with this suburban situation, people
was
get
her
all
job.
pissed off, and yeah. But at the same time, I
It
don't
wasn't
know.
your neighbor's job to park her car on the sidewalk.
I've never heard what the situation, what the full explanation.
Not that you
is.
know.
What's the
For
full
whatever-
explanation?
Yeah, I know. It
Well,
does
for
sound pretty
whatever-
bizarre because it's at one point she was like sitting on his car.
Yeah,
which
we're
he-
like, what, you know, what,
Yeah,
if she
for
has
whatever
his
reason.
license plate or whatever, why didn't she just let him leave, send the ticket through the mail or whatever, you
Yeah.
know, whatever it is.
Well, we don't know.
Or-
I mean, he could have been driving into road
Yeah.
construction. You know,
You're
he
right,
could have
you
been
know.
impeding other traffic.
That's a good
he
point.
could have been like honking his horn continually,
It could have been just and, you know.
or
I
like
will-
spitting onto the inside of the windshield.
Yeah, she could have just been fucking with him because he was Moss too. I mean, hey, it's Randy Moss. I want an autograph.
Could
I mean,
be.
That was it.
could be. What? Well, it could be. It's not a fucking guarantee.
No, but people fuck with these.
Yeah.
Anybody who's famous, like
Yeah.
Yeah, like take any Hollywood,
but he did
any of
admit-
these
he did it.
Hollywood people, you know, they come out, they're like constantly
Yeah, I
being,
know.
they're constantly getting in fights.